Today we're going to talk about harmonics. Now, what are harmonics? What do they do? How did I just do that? When do I do that? All those things. We're going to cover it. Here we go. Harmonics, or natural harmonics, can be achieved on the guitar only on certain frets. They don't show up on every fret. Some of them, there's nothing. But then some of them, they're really easy to hit. We're going to choose the 5, 7, and 12, okay? Those are going to be the easiest places for us to start with harmonics, okay? Now, how do we do these harmonics? And I'll show you what I mean. So what's happening is there are certain frets that if I just touch the string, not hold it down, I just touch the string and pick it, it will produce a different tone than the fretted note. Now, how is that happening? Imagine that when you pick the string, if you had a magnifying glass on your guitar string, when you pick the string, it's vibrating in this really wide motion. It's vibrating in this wide motion, and then when I touch the string slightly, it doesn't all the way mute the string, it just sort of slows that vibration to a smaller, tighter vibration, hence making the pitch shoot up and into a different direction. It'll go into a different pitch. That's kind of a non-scientific explanation, but that's kind of what's happening. I'm going to start out taking my pointer finger, and let's go to the 12 of the little E string. Now, instead of pressing it down and playing the note, I'm just going to barely touch it, okay? Now, as I'm barely touching it, typically when we hold down a fret, we like hold down in between the lines, right? In between the fret wires. We don't want to be on the fret wires. But with the harmonics, you actually do kind of want to be over the fret wire, closer to the end of the fret. So if we're on 12, you kind of want to touch the fret in between 12 and 13. You know, you're still on the 12, but closer to the 13th fret, okay? See how I did that? I pick the string and it produces a tone. I'm not holding it down, I'm just touching it on that fret wire. And right when I pick it, I hear the tone and I remove my finger. If I leave my finger touching it, it's gonna kill the note. You see? So as soon as you hear that harmonic note, take your finger away. So basically, pick, then take your finger away. Now, we just did that at the 12th fret. Let's try it on another string. Go to the 12 of the B now. Same thing. And if you can bar, you can touch both of those two strings, right? And you can pick them both at the same time. Let's try holding the E and the B together. I'm holding the 12 of the E and the B. And again, not pressing them down, just touching them on the fret wire between 12 and 13. There you go, natural harmonics, right? So I can do those all on every string. So I'm on the 12th fret, they can be played any of these strings. I don't have to pick hard, I don't have to press down at all. Super easy to do as long as you're precise in where you're touching the string. Now, like I said, two of the other easiest places to play these harmonics are at the 7 and the 5. So let's go to the 7 and try the same thing. I'm gonna touch the string kind of closer to the end of the 7th fret before I move to the 8. Okay, so sort of touching right over the wire. Then you can do it on the other strings. I could even bar all of the strings with my pointer if I leave it straight up and down and play all of them. There you go. And then, of course, like I said, the 5. You know what's weird is typically when we hold notes on the guitar neck, as we go up the neck, what happens? The pitch goes higher. When I played the harmonics, I started out the 12. When I went to 7, instead of the pitch going lower, it went higher. It went in the opposite direction, right? That's sort of where those harmonic notes reside. That's just where they resonate. It's science. Now, an interesting fact, if I were to play at the 12th fret, that's the octave, right? So when we played that harmonic at the 12, it's the octave of the open string. Same as if I fret that note. If I hold down the 12, we're getting an octave of the open string. The harmonic is going to be the same thing at the 12. So if I went to where the 24th fret would be, because 12 plus 12, that would be a second octave, right? Now, not all guitars have 24 frets, some do, but if yours doesn't, just imagine where the 24 would be. Like if this is 22, 23, 24. I can hit a harmonic there too, even without a fret. There it is. So you don't need frets to hit the harmonics on account that you're not actually pressing the frets down. It's all about the vibration of the string, right? So I'm about to blow your mind. The distance from the 24th fret to the 12 and the 12 to the 5th fret are the same distance. And that's why the 24th fret harmonic and the 5 are exactly the same. Isn't that crazy? So the 24th fret to the 12 is the same distance from 12 to 5. And that's why both of those have the same harmonic. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but it's an interesting thing. So like I said, the harmonics, you can find natural harmonics all over the neck in different places. Some frets have them, some don't. Particularly in the lower frets though, sometimes you can find several harmonics within one fret, especially since these lower frets are so much wider than the higher ones, right? So for example, the 3rd fret, I'm gonna play the G string. I just hit like 4 different harmonics in that one fret. So they're kind of all over the place. You just have to hunt around and find them, but that's how you do them. Now, a cool trick that you may have heard bands do is check this out. Like, that's cool sounding, right? So basically all I'm doing is I'm holding my finger on the big E string, and it could be on any string, but we're using the big E as an example. And I'm doing as if I was gonna do a harmonic, but I'm just moving that finger back and forth. I'm not holding it down, I'm just touching the string. So as I keep picking, I'm gonna hit all of those harmonics kind of within the distance I travel. That's pretty cool, right? So you can do that on any of the strings. Another thing that you might hear a lot, especially in like rock and metal songs with natural harmonics, is hitting a harmonic and using the whammy bar to, like, you know, manipulate that note. Check this out. That's pretty cool, right? That's how you get those crazy horse sounds. I'm just hitting a harmonic and I'm manipulating the whammy bar. Another thing you can do is artificial harmonics. And what this means is, instead of depending on whatever harmonics are available wherever I can find these harmonics, what if I were to hold a fret and be able to hit a harmonic higher? Like if open equals 12, right, with that harmonic, then wouldn't 2 produce a harmonic at 14? Yes, it would. But how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna hold both notes? Well, you can kind of use this tapping trick, okay? So let's say I'm holding the 2 of the G, okay? The 14 of the G is the octave now, right? Because I'm holding the 2. But if I tap, like really quick, not hold it down, but just ding, just tap my finger on and off of the fret wire, you know, like we said, up high, I'm gonna tap it on the fret wire of the 14. Notice it's hitting a harmonic, right? So that's a way that you hear like Van Halen and some other artists, they create these artificial harmonics. I'm just kind of tapping your finger sort of on the fret wire at the octave. And there's others in there too. I just used the octave as an example, but you have all the same options as when you did it open. Now, another thing I've seen people do to create artificial harmonics is hold their pick with their middle and thumb and then use their pointer I'm not that good at it. I don't practice that a lot. That's not my preferred technique, but it is pretty cool, and I've seen a lot of people do some amazing things with it. So yeah, that's another way to create artificial harmonics. Harmonics don't always have to be used with distortion tones and stuff like that too. They're actually really useful with clean tones. especially like doing them with a few effects. I'm gonna throw like some reverb and chorus. They're not hard to do. You just have to find where they are. Hunt around for it. If you're not hearing one on a fret, there's probably not one there. Move somewhere else and maybe there's 2 or 3. It's kind of random. So happy hunting on that. And we'll talk about pinch harmonics later. I know that's on everybody's mind, but we're gonna do a separate video on that. So for today, there you go. Natural harmonics and artificial harmonics on the electric guitar. Hopefully that was useful to you. See you next time.